How are you involved in your grandchildren's lives?
The ones that live here, all they want. Well, early on, when Jane lived here, it was fun to be involved with Trevor and Jeff and Jill. And we only got involved with Brooks and Suzette's when we went to Utah for a while. But then they lived here in town, and that was wonderful because we watched them grow up beautifully, smart, talented. It was wonderful. The Collins kids came, Doug and Blake came a few times in the summer, but not much more. They always had things scheduled, summertime activities, so it was hard for them to come. But I told you the one time when they came and we had a load of pipe on the rack on the pickup and headed up the back road to the ranch, and it was steep and windy and scary, and Doug grabbed each one of us and turned around the neck and said to Grandpa, "Don't go too fast, Grandpa." So cute. And Nona's kids, we've been involved with them a lot. It's been wonderful. One day, let's see, Kara had 2 or 3 quotes. One of them, she was exasperated, just a little kid, and she says, "Oh, why was I born to this woman?" And one day, she was here, and I was taking her back home, and it was corn season. We were going to go up and do corn. She wanted to get an ice cream cone on the way, and I said, "No, we got to go." And she says, "Oh, shucks." I thought that was kind of appropriate. And Lisa and Stephen were here together a bit, and Lisa called Stephen Stina, and Stephen called Lisa Wisa. And as they were conversing and calling each other that, Lisa said, "I'm not Wisa, Stina." Cute. And the girls, oh my gosh, we had girls here mostly. There were the Harrington girls and Brooks's girls, and Emily was kind of far down the line, but they all came and did dress-ups and plays, and it was wonderful. So much fun. Elaine's kids didn't come as much. The Mesa kids just had so many things going on. Michael, when he was 14 or 15, worked for the Parks and Recreation, and that cute little pig eating the watermelon in our bathroom he made for me. Sarah hasn't visited much at all, and neither has Laura, and nor Craig. Just the other 2 when they were young. Leela's kids, we mostly just saw them when we went to Utah. But we were at things like baptisms and Eagle Scouts and things like that, and it was fun. And then, of course, Marcy's kids grew up here, and you just have a stronger feeling for the ones that you know the best. And so I wish I knew everybody as well. But like I said, I know your kids are good and all is well, even though I wasn't there. You did just fine.
What is satisfying about being a grandparent?
Having the kids grow up good, being able to Let them do things their parents probably wouldn't want them to, like watch TV. Last year it was so much fun to have Dal and Emily and Dina and Matthew sometimes come here for lunch every day. But they never wanted me to fix them anything. They just ate bread. And it was fun to interact with them. Good kids.
Describe some specific things that you like to do as a grandparent.
When we had the cable car, that was fun. To have the kids play in the backyard with the cable car. Mostly just they came to visit, came to be here for a little bit. So, and then the vacations we took like to the ocean. That was fun. Very good. And most of the kids have graduated from college with high honors. Been lovely to see that happening. Very good.
How did your relationship change with your children as you became grandparents, as they became parents?
Well, you almost don't think of them as children. You think of them as contemporaries. And so there it is.
That's what I had for breakfast this
They're
morning.
more friends than children.
So yes, I can.
Or they're your mentors. Make you do things.
How are your attitudes and feelings different as a grandparent versus parent?
I guess you feel less of the responsibility. You can just enjoy.
Are there things that you do with your grandchildren that you wish you had done with your children?
Don't do much except just let them be here. And
You say you can't eat. Some I can. Apricots.
What are your challenges
Yes,
as a grandparent?
I can eat apricots.
well, I can see that
We have apricots.
that mother's challenge is to not try to tell everybody what to do. And so that would be a thing I would
This
try
is
to avoid.
apricot. And we,
So far, it hasn't
I got too many apricots.
hasn't been
so I put
a
some
problem that I'm aware of.
Ah,
So
makes a very
I think I'm fine.
tasty dish. Maybe that's not banana.
What have you learned about your children from seeing them as
She
parents?
called
Oh my goodness.
something else.
How good they are.
The what does it say? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Called her and asked her. if
So
it
you
had
all have
banana
good
in
kids.
it.
It's wonderful.
I'll take a bite and see.
I don't know if that answered the question.
It doesn't, but that's okay.
Okay.
If asked, what parenting advice would you like to give?
It is good.
Dad's advice: treat children with respect. Don't ever hit them. Don't ever yell at them. You can do it a different way.
What has surprised you about being a grandparent?
Can't think of that one. Can't think of that one.
All right. What have you learned from being a grandparent?
Well, what I just said, that you still need to treat them with respect. Even 2-year-olds have feelings. I mean, they're tender, and you need to respect that. For the most part, when children have a little accident or do something wrong, all you need to do is put your arms around them and comfort them. You don't have to lecture them or anything.
How would you describe your children's relationship with their grandparents?
A lot of things are fine. They do good.
Tell me how you felt when you were with your grandparents.
Oh, it was absolutely wonderful. When we moved down to this house from the ranch, and then Grandpa and Grandma Carpenter would come to visit, we would run outside and jump up and down and just go, we were so thrilled to have them come. And the same to go over to Grandpa and Granny's house up to San Jose. Because grandparents are usually loving and forgiving and all those things. They don't try to tell you what to do. They just love you. That's the way it should be.
Yep. How would you describe yourself as a grandparent?
I think I'm okay. That's it.
That's it. Tell us something you would love to do with your grandchildren.
And take them to the beach every year, I guess. As they're older and they're, as they're married and older, it's just fun to visit with them, just like any other friend. See, we've got Jeffrey's 33. You're not that much younger than you are. So you're contemporaries, and he's the same. He's good.
What would you most like to do for your grandchildren?
Give them everything they want or need. That's
Are they trying to
unspecific.
get rid of us?
I think so. They're unresisting.
How would you like your grandchildren to remember you?
As loving them the way I remember my grandparents. I guess everybody will remember different things, but I hope it's all good. I hope I haven't offended any too bad.
All right. That's all I've got.
Oh, wow.
So if there are things that you want to add about grandchildren or being a grandparent.
They were all so cute. Jeff, we were ready to have dinner one time when he was about 3 or 4. They were at a little table by the side of the big table, and we put the food down there, and he says, "Are we just going to eat with our fingers?" Because the silverware didn't get there fast enough. And Jeff was always playing Superman. That was his favorite thing. And so one year Jana made him a red cape. And he put the red cape on and did he have a Superman suit?
I can't remember.
A big S on his chest.
Okay, and he went outside and climbed up on a box and jumped off and came back in and cried and said, "I still can't fly." Funny boy.
My favorite memory of him said, "I'll never be 4."
I know, that was funny too. We had a fun thing about that because it was conference time and he had to go in the nursery. And you had to be 4 to go into conference. I'll never be 4. And Sophie was 13 or 14. Anyway, it was time for a dance, and she couldn't go. I'll never be 14. And then one Thanksgiving time,
Shall we go?
Leslie had been telling
What
me
are we gonna do?
it's only 3 more months till my birthday and I'll be
I
16.
want to go to Lee's
It's only
right
2
away.
more
Get
months.
some
Her
stuff
birthday
for her.
was at Thanksgiving time.
So am I supposed to
We were
go
in the
with
temple
you?
hall.
I think so.
What for?
And everybody was there for
Why
Thanksgiving.
am I not going by myself?
And she turned 16.
Or I can just go without you.
But all of the... No, you have your instructions.
I know, and I'm
But all of
questioning them.
All of the kids older than she
All I need to
was
do is
were going
go
to a dance.
Get grandma's prescription.
But she couldn't go because she wasn't 18.
I want you to come with me to Lee's right
She
away.
made it to 16.
You do?
But she
Get
sat
some
there
stuff
alone
for
and
her.
cried because she couldn't go because she wasn't 18 yet.
All right. So we go.
So I made a talk about that. I thought,
two
you know, we
cars?
all
You might as well
want
go
to
in one.
be
All right. Yours or mine?
the next step up. But
I already have keys
I'm
right
wondering
here, so
at
you
what
come with me.
age,
All right.
if you're 20, do you want to be 25? I don't know. If you're 25, do you want to be 30? But as a matter of fact, every age is just great. And I'd rather be here than back there. So who's going to drive out there?
Any more memories of grandchildren?
One time, Jana and Greg went off somewhere for a couple of days and left Stephen with us when he was just 2 or 3 years old. And when they came back, he wouldn't look at him. Turned his head away, wouldn't look at him at all. Took several minutes for him to accept the fact that he was reunited and not abandoned or something. That was funny. And one day, when Stephen was only 4 or 5 years old, I was scrubbing the kitchen floor over there. And it was so bad I had to use a scrubber. And he helped me at age 4 or 5 for a couple of hours. I thought that was pretty neat for a kid that age. He did. Let's see. Well, as I said, the girls always came and did dress-up plays. When Chris was 3 or 4 years old, he hadn't started to talk yet, which was a worry. He'd come across the driveway and come and tell us this big, long story with words that we could not understand. And then he'd say, "Bye," and away he'd go again. And they were worried enough that they had him tested. I don't know how they could test him, but he never did talk till he was maybe 3 or 4 years old. But then he talked. He's really smart. When he was a freshman in high school, he was in the choir, and the choir director was Dr. Lunt, who had come back to Thatcher High School to teach after he retired from EA. And he was putting together a boys' quartet, and so he was auditioning the boys. And Chris had a beautiful tenor voice. And so he was building around Chris, who was a freshman, and told Chris he wanted him to be the tenor. Well, at that age, his voice was starting to change. He didn't really want to be a tenor. So he came home and told his mother, and she says, "Oh my goodness, let you listen to something." So she put on some great tenor, and it was beautiful. And Chris said, "Oh my goodness, he hit high E." And his mother said, "How do you know he hit high E?" "High E. I know high E when I hear it." And so they checked it out on the piano, and it was right. So he had a true pitch, and so he always set the pitch for groups that were singing, either here at the house or at school or anything else. But he did have, and he was first chair, first tenor in the state all state choir. things like that. And he loved to sing. Even as a high school student, one time they invited him to give a talk in state conference. And part of his talk was he sang a hymn without accompaniment when he was a teenager in state conference. Oh my goodness. I thought that was pretty bold for a teenager. Pretty bold. And he did a couple of contest kind of things, just valley contests up on the street and everything. Did a good job, so he could sing. And then when he graduated from EA, he only had 1 year. He had taken enough credits before college and during his college year that he graduated in 1 year. And he was in that choir, and they had him sing 3 or 4 solos in his swan song moment. Beautiful voice. Let's see, who else? Colin's kids, Blake and Doug and Craig, I guess, were also in the all-state choirs. They were good. I've never heard them sing solos. Laura has a beautiful voice, and I've heard her sing. I've heard her sing duets with a guy, too. And Nona's kids are all very musical. And they can sing together anything. And that's part of our fun things when we're together in family groups. We have a singing time. Last time, were you here at Thanksgiving when we sang the Hallelujah chorus?
Yeah.
That was fun. It's always fun to sing a challenge like that. And then recently, it must have been at Christmas time, Leah and Janelle sang a duet in our sacrament meeting, and Callie and Dina sang a duet in their sacrament meeting, and I think it was the same song. So when we got together with our family, then everybody knew the song, and it was just gorgeous with the whole group.